Let's talk about these shit kickers. What's going on, guys? Ben here with Robinson Reconnaissance. Hope you guys are doing well. Today I have a new Robinson Reviews episode focused on my favorite hiking boot right now, the SALOMON XA Forces Mid. Let's get into it. The XA Forces Mid is a lightweight, all-conditions tactical boot for moving fast in the most critical situations. Based on Salomon's iconic XA Pro 3D, which you can see here in the newer V8 Ignite version, the upgraded XA Forces Mid is a special forces-oriented boot that is more durable in every way and also has a beefier outsole than the traditional XA Pro 3D. These XA Forces have a weight of around 490 grams or 17.3 ounces. The outsole is a Contagrip MD with a dual density midsole that has what Salomon calls EnergyCell technology. This provides high performance, lightweight cushioning, stability, and motion control, which also has built-in shock absorption as a bonus. Contagrip is a combination of rubber compounds and aggressive lug geometry that optimizes grip in rugged terrain. Maximum traction rubber combines with high durability rubber added in zones that receive the most abrasions and wear and tear. These boots have a plastic 3D advanced chassis that is puncture resistant. When you see the term EN in the name, that means that the soles are anti-static, anti-slip, and have anti-puncture capabilities. EN stands for European norm, and this just means that the boot meets strict European safety standards. The upper material of the boot features an anti-debris mesh with a medial protective abrasion pad on the instep, non-reflective materials which won't give away your position, a protective mud guard, and PU-coated leather. The upper construction features a gusseted tongue to help keep dirt out of the boot, a lace pocket, and a protective toe cap with the SensaFit system. This SensaFit system connects the midsole of the boot to the quick lace Kevlar system that keeps you from banging the front of your toes against the front of the boot. I can attest that this SensaFit system does minimize blisters, rubbing, and bruising on your foot over periods of long wear. This boot's lacing system is Kevlar quick lace, which provides a standard anatomical fit for less foot slippage in the boot. The built-in lace garage keeps everything tucked in and out of the way during operations. For instance, when climbing ropes or scaling structures of different kinds, these boots won't allow your foot to get caught on rogue objects and they will not cause abrasions. The lining material of the boot is mesh with a molded Ortholite sock liner insole. This is a fairly basic insole, but still comfortable to stand in for longer periods of time. I've tried a number of different boots over the years, and these are the ones that kind of have stood out to me and that I just can't stop using, can't stop wearing, and can't stop buying. So let's talk a little bit about the soles. These have Contagrip outsoles. They're made of a rubber combination that's puncture proof, and they also have a very aggressive lug pattern, so you're not slipping around. They have a 3D chassis is what they call it, so it's a very rigid chassis. As you can see here, I'm pushing on this pretty hard and it doesn't really move. And this lug pattern prevents you from going anywhere, whether it's snow, slipping on oil, or any sort of water surface. They have a plastic 3D chassis you can see right here, but it also extends around the outsole of the boot right here. And what that does is it just makes it ultra rigid, so it's very hard to bend. So it's really good for people who have plantar fasciitis or sensitive arches. These are the XA Forces in Coyote Brown. It's kind of like a military brown. These are the XA Forces Mid ENs that I've had for about 4 years. I've had these both for 4 years here. This one here is a Coyote Brown. This one comes in a Ranger Green. So they're a little faded from the weather and whatnot, but these XA Forces have gotten wet a number of times and they've dried. I've had these things on the heater. They haven't really shrunk up at all, so this leather on the outsole does not shrink, which is really good. They have the abrasion pad right in the middle here for your arch to protect your ankle. Here's a look at the tread. As you can see, there's a little bit of wear and tear on the edges, but aside from that, these things are kind of built like a tank. And here are the 4-year-old boots that I have in Coyote Brown as well. Been wearing these things in all different types of weather. Have a little bit of wear and tear here and there, but I mean, they're pretty bomb-proof. I really like this Kevlar lace system. So it prevents your foot from sliding forward in the boot and banging into the front of the toe cap. So when you're coming down a steep hill, for instance, these Kevlar laces keep your foot nice and back so it doesn't slide forward and hit the toe cap here and give you blistering. And it's made of Kevlar, so I found it pretty strong. I haven't had any issues with it breaking or rubbing or anything like that. And these also do have a garage system right here where you just pull this thing tight and it stows away in the garage so it doesn't catch on anything. I'll show you that here. That's an example there, so it stows away. In the newer version, I haven't wore these ones yet, but they have a pull cord that comes through the top, so the Kevlar comes in and then you just tuck it down below to get rid of it. These XA Forces mids provide a ton of support around the ankles. You know, you've got some pretty beefy foams in there that surround your ankle, kind of envelope your ankle. And then the back comes down and supports your Achilles as well, pretty good. This is that 3D chassis that wraps all the way around. It goes the side of the boot as well right here. And then it's also on the bottom. So this thing is very rigid, does not flex a whole ton. The quarter paneling on these is one of the things that I truly love about this boot. It just provides support. So when you tighten these laces, it clamps down on your foot and provides zero slippage. There's a little bit of wear and tear on the stitching and a little bit of scraping here and there. You know, I've put these things kind of through the paces the last 4 or 5 years and have not had any issues with these whatsoever, including the toes. None of these stitches come loose. They have a 3-layer stitching right here, and then this whole boot is Gore-Tex. So it does keep you fairly dry. In the deep snow, for instance, you get some snow here if you're not wearing gaiters. But these things get a little wet here, but I found them to be quick drying. And this lug pattern doesn't really hold rocks. There's a little piece there on the outside, but they also make the XA Forces in a non-mid. This is the mid, so it just shows you a comparison there. This whole outsole piece covers up higher on your ankle on that. On these are great for hiking. There's a reason that special forces and law enforcement use these shoes. It's just because they're so strong, so rigid, so aggressive, and they've got these really comfortable ortholite soles inside, which I've never had any issues with blisters on these. And they're fairly lightweight for what you get, but they're also definitely these 3D chassis. It's plastic, so it covers this part here. This is a 3D chassis here. Goes all the way around the back of the boot. And then you'll see it's also baked into this outsole here. This abrasion pad here is rubber, so it just prevents you from dinging up your ankle or the inside of your sole. Here's that same boot in a mid. So this is the mid version. So I'll show you the difference. This is the mid version right here. Covers higher up on your ankle. This is just your standard hiker version. Both Gore-Tex. Pretty much identical in terms of the boot construction and everything. These are the XA Pro 3D. These are the V8 Ignites from Salomon. So the XA Pro V8 Ignites, these are about 12 ounces. So the foam and the plastics and the rubbers are just not quite as hefty as the XA Forces. The XA Forces are about 16.6 ounces, so almost 17 ounces for a beefier, more rugged outsole, rubber lugging. The V8 Ignites do not have any type of abrasion pad on the inside of the ankle. These V8 Ignites also do have that same 3D chassis, and they have the Contagrip sole. This one's wearing a little more on the outside right there of the toe. But these are kind of more like my daily driver, kind of wear these every day. And I get all these from US Elite Gear. US Elite Gear is a site online that caters mostly to law enforcement and special forces, military, but they also sell civilian stuff as well, which is very high-end civilian gear. And these laces tuck up into that. Also Kevlar laces. They have a little bit of waterproofing in where they kind of like bake this on the toe box there. But they do have similar fronts. You can just see kind of the difference there between the two. But this Kevlar lacing system is fantastic. Oftentimes you can just leave it set to kind of where you want it and slip these on and off. And then these are just kind of like your basic Salomons. These ones don't have the Kevlar lacing system, just to show you the difference. These are just normal laces you tie. It's a little more breathable, so they allow your foot to not get as hot. And they also have a Contagrip sole on them, but they don't have that 3D chassis that really makes these kind of beastly. These were kind of the original ones that I got a while back, maybe 5 or 6 years ago. And they're very lightweight foam, but definitely not going to be as rigid as the V8s or your XA Forces. These XA Forces mids, they come in multiple colors. They come in coyote brown, which is just like a tan brown color. They come in a ranger green, which is almost like a forest green. And then they also come in a dark black color. And they have one other color, it's an earth brown color. I actually have those at home, so I'll show you that later. Here is the earth brown color. They're more of like a Hershey's chocolate brown color. And the XA Pro V8 Ignites, those come in a wolf gray color with kind of a gum tan accent color on the outsoles, mixed in there with a little bit of black. I would say the XA Forces are built for more critical situations, to where you need to move fast in those situations, which very much like special forces and law enforcement professionals need. They need a boot that's reliable and durable and doesn't break down on them, with also the added protection of the toe cap, the abrasion pad on the inside of the arch, and the non-puncture sole, which prevents anything from puncturing the bottom, you know, whether it's nails, sticks, or any other sharp objects that you encounter kind of on the job. Salomon is based in the French Alps, and they have been designing outdoor products for over 75 years. While Salomon is rooted in mountaineering and skiing, they do have a more tactical special operations background as well. Salomon does have both a Gore-Tex version, which is more suitable for wet and colder environments, and a regular non-Gore-Tex option is available as well. This is the go-to boot for when you need to be light, quick, and fast on your feet. These Salomons are my favorite boots for hiking and mountaineering where I live here in Colorado. The terrain is rocky and rugged, which demands a certain type of sole and boot. These XA Forces are comfortable to wear for hours on end, yet breathable enough to allow your foot to vent extra heat in extreme temperatures. These are simple, no-nonsense shoes that are rooted in backcountry mountaineering design, yet good for a variety of real-life urban applications, whether on special operations, law enforcement, and SWAT team applications. There are other boots out there that you might prefer from other manufacturers and outdoor companies. However, these Salomons are my top choice and my favorite lifestyle boot for the mountains. They are a rigid, well-rounded boot that I know will not let me down whether I'm working around the off-grid property, hiking miles in the backcountry, or hunting. Heavy-duty use is certainly not a deterrent for these boots. Well, there you have it, guys. My favorite boots right now, the Salomon XA Forces, a combination of lightweight, protective, rugged, and allows you to move fast in the field. Everything you're looking for in a solid boot right now. I appreciate you guys watching this video. Until next time, I'll continue broadcasting from way out here at the off-grid property. Peace out.